Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new around here, my name is the Diamond Bullet, and today I'm going to talk about some things. If you, my last video, I was talking about how I was releasing a light novel that I've been working on for the past year and a half. I got approved that same day, the same day I released that video, and as it stands, I have 4 chapters released, and chapter 5 is coming out tomorrow at 9 o'clock my time, so GMT. Actually, it's going to be BST now that it's summer. But before I delve into the depths of my interesting journey, I have an announcement to make. I know I could have edited that in easily. I chose not to. Basically, I have a second energy supplement partnership. So Dubby is still going to be my main massive sponsor, my sponsor, if you will. But Rogue is an affiliation. It's a partnership, kind of like my Kits.ai partnership. It's an affiliation, not a sponsorship. So Rogue is pretty much identical to Dubby from what I've seen. And next week I will be getting some. And I'll get some Dubby as well. And we're going to do a comparison. Dubby versus Rogue, which is actually better. So that's coming when they arrive. Rogue and Dubby do each have a flavor named Tiger's Blood as well. Another thing about Rogue is Rogue seems to have more designed shakers than Dubby does. So it's gonna be fun to see the differences and the similarities. But yeah, so I'm partnered with both now. So if I got F125 when modding and all that starts working, I'm going to have 2 energy supplement brands on my car, as well as all my partners. So Sea of Thieves Creator Crew, Kits.ai, the YMCA, and JDN BWR, the musician that I review, Jaden Bauer, which is stupidly spelled JDN BWR. So that's actually 6 partnerships I have. And obviously the title sponsors still is Dubby, but Rogue is there. I'm still drinking Dubby. I still haven't run out. And so last month, I got 2 tubs of Dubby. I got their mystery flavor and another flavor. I forgot the flavor. Actually, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so it turns out the Dubby flavor that I bought was also Tiger's Blood, which I enjoyed. I've finished the Tiger's Blood one. I've got one more serving left of this one. And one thing I am going to note, I got these last month, these 2. I've been drinking 1 a day. But I do 2 scoops instead of 1. I found out. Oh well, I discovered that 2 scoops obviously increases the flavor. But it does make it run out quicker because they're made for 1 scoop of 30 servings. So effectively I've got 60 servings. So if I do 2 scoops of each, that's 30, and that has lasted me a month. So it's actually really good. I've enjoyed both flavors as well. I've even done. I'm not supposed to admit this on YouTube, but I've mixed them with whiskey. I've mixed them with rum. I've mixed them with whiskey and rum mixed together, and it's been great. I've loved it. I do like the partnership I have with Dubby, and I can guarantee that I will be getting Dubby every single month from now on. I will get 2 tubs of Dubby every month, mix in different flavors, have a good time. Unless, of course, to be fair, I got the mystery tub for free, and next month I'm getting Rogue as well. So if I like the Rogue that I get, I will do 1 of each every month, just depending on the costs. So Dubby.gg, use code TDB10 for 10% off your entire order, or you can do rogue.com, link in the description below, naturally, and do code D14MOND, or diamond. I think as well that I have a custom link with them, which is / the diamond bullet. I will have to confirm that. But yeah, it's strange. So last year, it's been a year since I partnered with Dubby, because I partnered with Dubby when Visuals by Impulse shut down. So last January, I partnered with Dubby. So I've been partnered with Dubby for just over a year now, and I still use all their stuff. I use their hats because, as you know, I've got 2 of their hats. I use their hats when I'm walking about, out and about, protecting my eyes, keeping my hair out my face, because I do still have long hair. Still look homeless as heck. That's by design, though. I drink their the supplement. I've been reducing it recently, because I started with 1 a day, and then I started running out, and I'm like, oh shit, so it's now 1 anytime I'm not drinking water or tea. And it's really nice. I've actually had no problems with it. At all. Which is interesting. So, that's those 2 out of the way. I think it's... My code for kits.ai is different. My partnership with Sea of Thieves, JDN, BWR, and the YMCA are not sales-based, so those ones are okay. Okay. So, into the Legends of Diamond and Jaden Bonds Beyond World. So, this is actually made... I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's actually based on me and the musician I just mentioned moments ago. So we're the 2 main characters. I love the cover art that I had made for it. It's great. It does showcase a lot of the plot, which I guess is the point. But I've also been slowly getting art for each of the release chapters. So each chapter is going to have its own art, but it's going to be released technically as a volume. So each chapter is going to become a volume. So each chapter can have its own cover art too. The only difference that makes is on the page of the series, you'll see the volumes, but I'm going to call them the chapters of each. You'll see the little picture. But you'll also have an all chapters tab, so you can just see all of them. So as you can see, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. My views do go down significantly. And there's a reason for that, I think. So chapter 1 and chapter 2 are... they're filler. They get to know the characters get to know themselves, and get to know the world. Chapter 2 brings in a new character and the first summoned beast of many, which is I'm not gonna say. And then chapter 3 and chapter 4 are more battle and training based. And travel. So it does actually make sense. Chapter 5, it's an interesting one, chapter 5. It's definitely worth reading. They all do flow into each other as well. It's not just this one's done in one place and then they teleport. They piggyback off each other. So the opening sequences to one chapter is the back end of the ending sequences of the last. Chapter 3 and 4, I also removed titles of the different sections. Chapter 1 and 2 had titles. Chapter 3 and 4, I removed them. Chapter 2, I got a request to include more time scaling. So more feeling of the passage and flow of time, because chapter 1 and 2 they don't have them, and there's a reason for that. So chapter 3 did bring that in. Chapter 3 was planned to bring that in anyway, but then the same person who is following my whole series, which is incredible, and I do appreciate that, he said, can you include more transition elements, so more descriptive elements of the scenes, because he's a visual learner. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay, but because I am restricting myself to a maximum of 4,000 words, I do have to remove a whole lot of unnecessary scenes and unnecessary information. But chapter 4 and 5 does have a lot of what's the words? A lot of scenes, a lot of travel, and a lot of description. So writing this it's been okay, until I was releasing chapter 4. So chapter 4 released on Monday. I was working tirelessly for the 4 days between the two. So from chapter 3's release to chapter 4, to try and get chapter 4 to reach the word limit. Because I want to do a minimum of 2,000, but a maximum of 4,000 words, apart from these two. And that one's close enough to 2,000. So my issue with chapter 4 was, it's not a massively indulgent chapter. It's not a massive battle. It's a lot of just training. So there's a lot. So it's a lot harder to talk. It's a lot harder to write about it when it's all one thing. Now, that is the main issue I've had, is getting chapter 4 to above 2,000 words. It took until 11 o'clock at night on the 27th, so the day before release. It took until then for me to get it to a point where I was happy. And then the next day I had a job interview to get to. So I was fucked anyway. So I scheduled it to release at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock I was at my job interview, so I couldn't update my Discord status. But chapter 5 was really easy. Out of all of them, because chapter 5 has the most development. I don't want to give anything away, but chapter 5 is also the first hint of romance. There is no overly sexual or overly sensual scenes in any of my chapters. Because I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, the series will be marked as NSFW. But it's where relationships start forming, and it's a great chapter. I myself, even though I wrote it, and I'm definitely saying it's a great chapter, I like chapter 5 over any of the other chapters I've released so far. It is the most detailed, the most impactful, and it's a great read. I find myself reading it over and over again myself. I do read my own stuff, yes, but I don't go into the page to read it. I just go into the edit to read it. So as you can see, this is scheduled for tomorrow. I'm already working on chapter 6. I want to release one every Monday and every Friday if I can. So I am already working on chapter 6. Chapter 6's plotline is almost it's almost identical to chapter 5. But one thing I love about chapter 6 is it introduces 3 new people, which is the most out of every chapter apart from chapter 1. Well, no, it's the most of all chapters, because chapter 1 introduced 2, chapter 2 introduced 2, chapter 3 introduced 1, chapter 4 introduced 1, chapter 5 introduces 0. 0 main plot, 0 main plot characters. So if I go into here, for example, I need to edit this anyway. Scroll down, so as you can see, they've got both, so I need to fix this. New main plot character profiles. I need to add this to all of them. Save. And go back here. Go back here. So you're seeing what I actually am doing live. I'm trying not to give away too much information. Because I do want you guys to go and read these. Once it's done, I might do a series here on YouTube or somewhere where I'm reading them for those of you that struggle. Because this is a lot of word. And this is only 1 new person, so that was actually correct. So we're gonna fix that. Save changes. And like I said, chapter 5 adds no new people. Just the first 4, and chapter 6 has new as well. Your main character profile. This seems like a different text to this. There we go. So, like I said, I've been enjoying writing this. I've been taking time off of pretty much everything to be writing this. And here's something. Once I have everything planned, I'm not putting it into a Google Drive or a Google Doc or a notepad even. I write it into the site. I have the plan and I write it. And if I have an issue, then I go because it does announce on the page that it does have AI assisted content. If I am really, really struggling to fill a plot hole or to describe a scene, that's where I'll get ChatGPT to help me. I'm also using ChatGPT for a template. So ChatGPT has given me a template of how I should follow, of what I should follow. Because again, this was initially made to be an animated series, not a novel, not a book. So making the change has been difficult. But I did say I was probably going to wait till chapter 10, but this is chapter 5, so close enough. So I will do regular updates on this. I will never I will never give away too much information. Because I don't want to. Because I could very easily give away all the information for all the first 26 chapters that I have planned out. Because I do have 26 chapters planned out. And I have announced it on chapter 5 in the... Because each one of my chapters, I have done 3 chapter author notes where I've thanked people for their support, their advice, and I've described the chapter slightly without giving away major plot lines, as well as provided information as to the future. So I have 26 planned chapters. I'm not planning chapter 27 until chapter 26 is released. So that means when chapter 26 gets released, which is about 10 weeks from chapter 1, because if it's 2 a week, then it's... No, it's not. It's like 13, isn't it? 20, 22, 24... Yes, it's exactly 13 weeks away from chapter 1. Although chapter 1, I released 3 in a week. So it's going to be about 10 weeks before that's released. So I have made it known that that's what's going to happen. Because, so when chapter 26 gets released, it's probably going to be a chapter every week. And it'll be every Sunday, I think. Because this has all been in the works for a year and a half. Planning this, writing it, as what it was supposed to be the animated series, like I said. But then, when I didn't have the resources for that, I turned to alternatives. And voila, Royal Road. So this has been a fun journey of discovering my actual capabilities. I've been also brainstorming future light novels. So this isn't going to be my only one. It's just going to be my first one. So I know this is probably only going to get 3 views. Not like I care. But I'm sticking to my word of updating on issues I've been having with this, and as well my new partnership. So I actually now have 6 partnerships, which I did say at the beginning, but to me that's pretty crazy, because I used to only have Visuals by Impulse. So Visuals by Impulse used to be my only partner. Back when I was still playing the F1 games, and I had a livery made based around that because they were my main partner. They weren't a sponsor. That was an affiliation, like this Rogue partnership. So it's not an affiliation. It wasn't a sponsorship. So they were my title sponsors in the game. But then I had to mix them with a whole bunch of different things. So I mixed them with Nike and... No, I didn't. Did I? Was it Nike or Adidas? It was one of those two. It was Rain Energy, because back then I was drinking a lot of Rain Energy. There was Mercedes. There was a whole bunch of various different ones, but only Visuals by Impulse was my real life partnership. And then later that same year, whilst I was playing Sea of Thieves, I joined their creator crew. So that partnership, although it's not really anything, started existing, which I didn't do anything with. I'm yet to do anything with. I am trying to plan something around that, but I don't know what yet. And then Visuals by Impulse gave up. they became Elgato Marketplace and shut down their affiliations. So I then found Dubby in January last year. So I found Dubby. I partnered with him. I got accepted. I started doing AI covers with Kids.ai, so I applied for affiliation, got accepted. So that's Dubby, Kids.ai, Sea of Thieves. Then we've got the YMCA, which technically I've been with since 2021, but I've never really advertised it as much. So I've decided to bring that in, but towards the end of last year. Then we've got JDNBWR this year, or Jaden Bauer for the music. And now we've got Rogue Energy. So I've got 2 energy supplement brands, which, if they were both main sponsors, would probably be an issue. But Rogue is an affiliation. And these aren't of videos, they're of my channels. So it's not this video is sponsored by this, or this video is sponsored by that, and I get paid 10 grand, for example. It's not that. No, this is a full partnership with my channels. And I really, really like the position my channels are in. The issue is now I have to change my banner again. Because I haven't got enough space to display Rogue or JDNBWR on there. So that's going to be fun. So, chat time. In the comments, if you read my novel, let me know what you think. Let me know if you would like to hear me reading these out, chapter by chapter as a video. Let me know any ideas on potential future plot lines for future series. And most of all, let me know if you decide to buy any Dubby or Rogue. And if you do, let me know your thoughts, because I haven't been selling any. But also, I haven't been getting other people's opinions, because I tried to at my youth ambassador gathering recently, but people were allergic to green coffee, so they couldn't have it. And obviously, instead of maltodextrin, W's is a green coffee byproduct. Ironically, I think the formula between the two is identical, or similar at least, because Rogue also doesn't use maltodextrin, which is interesting. So I've got 2 healthy energy supplements. Rogue also has cans. I haven't checked those out yet, but it looks like they've got more of a can selection than Dubby does. Dubby released 2 flavors in cans, and they sell out fast. Like, really, really fast. So, let me know what you have. If I do highly recommend Tiger's Blood or their mystery flavor for Dubby. I recommend any flavor, to be fair. All of the 4 flavors I've had, I've enjoyed. So it seems common, but I do need to do a little bit more research into Rogue's recipe, if I'm honest, and I will be doing that today. But I had to let you guys know about my new partnership, as I always do. So, while I just showed you all of my browser, I don't know how long this video is. So, thank you for coming out and watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!